Hi everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Mark, and today we're going to be making chicken teriyaki over rice. The kind of rice you use is entirely up to you. You can use brown rice, you can use white rice, you can use flavored rice. What I chose to use was chicken flavored fried rice, and it's got a little bit of sesame and soy sauce in the flavor. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to need 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Now you could go a different route. What you could do instead of the apple cider vinegar is, bear with me one moment here. Is you could use sake instead. So I'll give you what you need, and then I can tell you what you can use as substitutes. You're going to need 1 pound of boneless chicken breast. What I used was a pound of boneless chicken tenderloins. It's the same thing. They're smaller pieces. You're still going to cut them up in little pieces, about 1.5-inch pieces. The next thing you're going to need is a tablespoon of oil to go with the chicken so you can fry it up. You're going to need 1/4 cup of soy sauce. You'll also need 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and like I said, you can use apple cider vinegar or you can use sake. It's entirely up to you on how you do it. Sake is a little hard to find, so if you're not familiar with it, apple cider vinegar will work just as well. You also need 3 tablespoons, I'm sorry, let me scratch that. You'll need 2 tablespoons of white wine or Marin. If you can't find Marin, you can use any old white wine. I'm using a white Zinfandel. It's just a regular white wine. Merlot would probably work best because it's a very dry taste to it. You also need 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now, if you don't want the brown sugar or you don't have the brown sugar, you could use 3 tablespoons of regular sugar. However, brown sugar gives it a sweeter texture, a sweeter taste, and it also caramelizes a lot better than the white sugar does. You'll need 1 tablespoon of sesame seed oil, and that is primarily for flavor, to give your teriyaki chicken that flavor that it just absolutely desires. You also need 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. If you don't like if you don't have garlic, minced garlic, you can use clove garlics. If you don't like garlic at all, you can substitute it with ginger instead. You also need 4 cups of broccoli steamed. I've already pre-steamed my broccoli. So that's just waiting to go in. And then the other thing you're going to need is 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, only to thicken it up if you need it. If it's already thickened, then you don't need it. So if you do need to thicken it, you'll have to add 2 teaspoons of water to the cornstarch and then mix it all together. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to chop up your chicken, and I left 1 piece here so I could show you exactly just what it should look like. So let me just tilt this camera down here. So here's the 1 piece. And I'm going to move it over here so you can actually see it. And you're just going to cut, like I said, it's just about 1 inch, maybe 1 inch and a quarter. And that's it. After you get those cut, just simply drop them into the pan with the oil and turn your pan on to medium heat. And you want to cook the chicken until it is brown and crispy. Now, in the meantime, while the chicken is cooking, what you want to do is you want to combine a few things together for your next step. So the next thing you're going to do while the chicken is cooking is, in a small bowl, such as what I have right here, you're going to combine your soy sauce, your sugar, your vinegar, your wine, your sesame seed oil, and then mix it all together and set it aside. Literally, just with the ingredients that I just gave you, the instructions and the amount that I have, it'll all be up on my website and my cooking page. So you'll be able to find everything that you're looking for. But in the meantime, combine all that together, set it aside, and that's it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to let the chicken fry up. Once the chicken fries up, that's when, after it gets all fried up and crispy, in the center of the pan is where you want to put your minced garlic or your clove garlics chopped up, or your ginger, whatever you're going to use. And you're going to cook that for about 30 seconds in the center, just to give the aroma flavor and let it enhance into the chicken. And that's it for now. I'll see you in about 2 seconds here. Now, while your chicken is cooking, I just want to go over a few things with you. This is the brown sugar I use. It's just a store brand. A tablespoon of vegetable oil, cooking oil for your chicken to get it fried up. Apple cider vinegar. I always have it in the house. And this is the sesame seed oil. It's just for flavor. The soy sauce. And when you do the soy sauce, you can do low sodium or regular. It's entirely up to you. Those are what you're going to mix together. Aside from the oil, the vegetable oil, everything else you're going to mix together in that little bowl and get it all mixed thoroughly with a whisk. So you can see that it's slowly starting to brown. You have to use a pair of tongs and flip them over. Now, if the pieces of chicken are too big, you can always cut them down to size. I was just using that as a rough estimate. They're nice big pieces, as you can see. And chicken doesn't shrink, unlike hamburger and other certain meats. So, like I said, it's up to you. If that chicken is too big, then just cut into smaller pieces. So what we want to do is we want to get this to get to a brown, and then we want it to be a little bit crispy here. Now, it doesn't have to be cooked all the way through. We just want it a little crispy because we're going to add everything else to it afterwards. Now, I did crank up the heat a little bit on this. I put it up to about a 6. I do have an electric stove, so if you're working with a gas stove, just keep in mind your temperature. Alright, so they're starting to brown, a little crispy. I can see it on there. What we're going to do is we're going to add the 2 teaspoons of garlic. Right in the center. And just let it cook up for about 3-4 seconds.
Now I'm starting to smell that nice garlic flavor going on here. So the garlic cooks for about 30 seconds, which is just about now. So now we got all this done. Now you're going to take your mix that you've already made and just pour it in the center. We want to make sure that we get everything out of this. And you're just going to let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes. This should thicken up. Now this is where, if it doesn't thicken up, this is where you would add the cornstarch to get it to thicken. But I would just give it a few moments. The chicken looks good. It's nice and brown and a little crispy. Now the sauce should thicken up within about 2 to 3 minutes. So we're just going to let it sit here and see what happens. So it did start to thicken up, but I wasn't sure if it was going to or not, so I did add a little bit of cornstarch to it just to make sure. But it did thicken up nice and thick. You can see the chicken has changed the color to match the sauce. Nice little brown. Now the next thing you want to do is add your broccoli. And this is about 4 cups of broccoli that we're adding. This looks so good. And it smells delicious too. Now I am going to cheat because I do want to add a little bit of ginger to it. And as you can see, I'm just sprinkling it on the top. There. Now you can pour this over the rice, or you can just simply put the rice as a side and put this on the other side. So this is almost done here. I've added the broccoli to it. And as just to let you know, you can put this as a side, or you can actually add this right over the top of the rice. So if you want to do it as a side, just put it on one side and put your rice on the other side. If you're doing white rice, probably pour it on the top. If you're doing flavored rice, just put this on the side. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and put it on a plate. All right, this was Cooking with Mark. I want to thank you for watching Chicken Teriyaki.
with broccoli over flavored rice. Once again, this will be up on my website. I'm sorry, it'll be up on my YouTube channel, be up on my Twitter account, and it will also be up on Facebook.